Welcome, everybody, to Witchcraft TV Tarot with the Italian stallion, Volpe. And we're so glad that you showed up. And we haven't had Volpe on for a little while now because of traveling. But we are broadcasting now for the pagan, witch, and magical community for free readings if anybody's interested out there. And we are broadcasting from Volpe's place out there in California, I believe. And I am currently at the Blue Moon Essence Metaphysical Witchy Shop out here in Centralia, Washington. Volpe, how are you doing today?
Oh, great. We've had rough weather. We've had a heavy rain, and then it was a very ominous wind to where it was actually blowing some branches down, which was pretty scary, especially when you're working from home. But other than that, it's been okay.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. What's been going on astrologically out there in the world?
Okay, so well, first off, what I want to do is get this out of the way, just to because it's my duty to regret everybody to inform everyone that Mercury is going to go into retro as of this Saturday. It's yeah, unfortunately, but don't worry, it's like the fastest retrograde, and it's personally, as an astrologer, I don't care for Mercury retrograde either, because there's a lot of miscommunication. Software can fail. Traveling can go out of whack. It's not a good time to start anything new, sign any contracts, or start a new job, etc., etc. But it's only something that lasts for about 3 to 4 weeks. It's the fastest retrograde ever.
So what does that mean? What does that mean exactly? What could be some of the residue that we experience?
I would say that because it would be what we would experience is communication, because Mercury is about the communication, the intellect, and travel and technology. So when we're not very when we take things not for granted, but for when we're not very thorough in communication, things can be really, really, really taken out of context, or sometimes even result in frenzies, which is no bueno.
So things just kind of get exaggerated a bit. Is that what you mean?
Kind of. It might feel a bit, out of whack, and it's always recommended, because this is the time where hardware can actually fail, and you would have to save everything on a USB disk.
So you said a Mercury retrograde.
Yep. Unfortunately.
So out of all the retrogrades, I think just from discernment, I feel like Mercury retrograde is the most popular. I just feel that way.
Not a lot of people like it, because there's like a lot of confliction going on, a lot of miscommunication. You don't want to spend make big expenses or make big purchases at that time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, it's something to take into consideration.
So we don't have any live viewers right now, so I'm going to ask for a reading. I am going to ask a reading, a generalized reading for Witchcraft TV.
You got it. Okay, so I have my Notorious Astrology deck here, and the Oracle deck here, and then I have my Italian Tarot deck here. So which one would you like, Suze?
I would like the one that you are most proficient in, the one that you go to the most.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so let me shuffle them, and it's 3 here. Okay. Okay, so I just pulled the. Can you see it?
No, I can't. Looks like, yeah, I can't see it because I'm broadcasting from a cell phone today because I'm at the witchy shop out here in Centralia.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so this is Neptune, the planet. So Neptune has been connected with the intuition and spirituality, and as well as spiritual teachings. So way I see it on here is that right now, because as you know, we have a full blood moon which is coming, which is the solar eclipse. So things are going to be a bit heightened. So this is where and now it's going to appear in Libra. Well, right now the moon is in Virgo, so duty calls when so this is the ideal period to where chores and decluttering and reorganizing and cupboards such as like downsizing, and then it can also be a time for making decisions that improve mental and physical health, and for finalizing any essential paperwork. So with Neptune coming into the picture, he's saying that there's some sort of like spiritual decluttering. So there's probably some sort of, I would say, that there might be people that either there might be something that is holding you back, maybe spiritually, and that you have to release it, and then something that's because with the lunar eclipse going to be in Libra, which is about bringing everybody together. So there's some sort of spiritual group that you're wanting to bring about, and so you're seeking. You need to release things that are just anchoring you, so that way you're able to bring about your essential your essential light workers, star seeds, fellow witches, etc., to assist you with your your project.
Right. So you were talking about, and I appreciate that for the reading for Witchcraft TV, and that makes sense with Neptune. We had just filed with the Secretary of State in Washington, and I see somebody popped in. Thanks for watching Witchcraft TV Tarot with Volpe. If you would like a reading, just go ahead and put that in the comments. And I was asking Volpe about a reading for Witchcraft TV, and he pulled up Jupiter and
Neptune.
Neptune. Sorry,
No,
Neptune. So Neptune governs. So is Neptune? Is that anything to do with contracts or anything like that?
It can, but it's mostly, it has a lot to do with spirituality and the intuition.
I see. So we got a blood moon coming up. And you said that blood moon is going to be in Libra.
Yeah, and so this is kind of a very it has been known to be very intense in the astrological practices, particularly both eclipses, whether it be lunar or solar. So the spiritual aspects of the moon, which it deepens our emotional tides, and all astrologers, we believe that an eclipse is a life-changing time to seek change and usher in the evolution, and also to our emotions and subconscious patterns, which will be, they are going to be revealed when the moon is, in the Earth's shadow, or vice versa, if it's a solar eclipse.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I do know that Libra is like the zodiac of like balance, right? Isn't that the one with the scales?
It's more, yeah, it is more like, but because it's governed by Venus, and it's also an air sign, so it's more about congregation, relationships, keeping the peace. But it can
Mhm.
also be also indecisive, and too much of, to put it in a nice way possible, a people pleaser, because they want to avoid drama, and I don't
Mhm.
blame them. I mean, I can see the perspective because I'm a Mars in Libra, and I believe me, I vehemently despise drama.
So the Libra blood moon is like the perfect moon to bring people together.
Oh yes, because but when it's in a blood moon, like a lunar eclipse, it's just
Mhm.
that it's going to be felt more intense. And oh, my cat, he's being naughty. Hey, come on, I'm trying to do a reading here.
We
Yeah.
love the kitties. We love them.
Yep.
So Michelle Wynn would like a reading. I assume that it would be a generalized reading in the comments there. Michelle Wynn is coming. She is Phoenix Warriors Rising.
Okay. Okay, Michelle. So what would you like to know? What's he doing? Sorry. Yeah, my cat's being naughty, but I love him. Okay, so, oh my goodness, he's really aching for attention here. Okay, so you've just gotten cancer. So with this, like I was telling Harold here, that yeah, that was his tail. Sorry. Because we have a full moon, blood moon eclipse, lunar eclipse in the zodiac of Libra, which is about social meetings and network and social media postings and meditation, which are at the flavor, during this period, which we have to work on the period to build positive relationships with clients, coworkers, and associates, and even with friends and family as well. So with this card, with Cancer, this is a time to actually, um, excuse me, contact family members that maybe you have not spoken to in a really long time, or probably somebody that they've just haven't sort of like started the hi Lisa, started the um started the, I don't want to say relationship, but actually started, the conversation and the communication. So now would probably be a good time to get in touch with those, that you have been not have been in contact with, like I said, particularly family members. So I would say just consider that, and really open that dialogue back up with family members. And also,
Lisa had asked for a reading as well, and she's saying that this is her first time that she's gotten a reading. And we welcome Lisa to Witchcraft TV Tarot with Volpe. And I want to, before we get into that reading, I wanted to ask you, the full blood moon, what is the difference between a regular full moon and what's the difference when it becomes a blood moon? Why is it distinguished as a blood moon as a variation to other moons?
well, the full moon, it's that when it's when it heightens the intensities, the regular full moon, right? When it heightens the intensities of the and the interpretations on, depending on whatever sign the moon it's located in. However, the blood moon, which is the lunar eclipse, it heightens it. Not only it heightens it even more intense. You're very welcome, Michelle. But also in a lot of situations, like closures, like love and love relationships, they can be very potent, which could mean moving forward together, or an engagement, or even a sincere marriage, or hand fasting, if you will. Or however, if things are a bit off, like things are like not exactly working, then it's just a time to discuss an honest have an honest discussion about the future, whether it's and it just depends upon the couple and whether or not it would work out or not. So basically, that's basically what it is in a nutshell when it comes to blood, the difference between a blood moon and a regular full moon.
Thank you so much for that. I want to get into a little bit more questions about the blood moon and the effects of magic, but I want to really get to Lisa's reading. Lisa had asked for a reading, and this would be the very first time. I'm not sure if she means that the first reading as in ever, or the first time that she's had a reading from Witchcraft TV's Tarot with, well, definitely from Volpe too. So.
Okay. It's interesting. You just pulled the can you see it, Lisa? Luna. So it's interesting here that you just pulled this this card here. So the way I'm seeing it is that there might be some sort of relationship going on. So in case if you joined us just now, Lisa, we were having a discussion about the blood moon or lunar eclipse being in the sign of Libra, which is about to heighten our not only heighten our instincts of becoming more wanting to keep the peace and keep the balance, and then and it's also about relationships and conjugation, and but it also can be a sense of being decisive because we want to, like, I don't know how to say please everybody, but at the same time we just want to avoid drama altogether. Drama no bueno. And so with the blood moon, with the lunar eclipse is in right now, so relationships are very, very high. So but if some people may be in to where the relationship is a bit off, it's just now it's a time to sit down and have a discussion about the potential future. So, but because with this card that you have ended up with, I see that there is a relationship right now to where you are seeking that might be with someone. There could be a potential interest in somebody that might have an interest with you. So I would say you probably know that. So I would say to just sit down, give it a chance, maybe go out to a fancy restaurant or whatever, and then and actually get to know this person, get to know what their intentions are, get to know them, what kind of a person they are, but also show them for who you really, really, really are. Tell them, give them a sense of what your pet peeves are. Give them a sense of what you like, what or whatever that might be. But the way I see it on this one, there is a love interest. I don't know if it's because you have a love interest or somebody has a love interest with you. So I would actually, do a little bit, maybe investigation would be the word to use. I don't know. But yeah, I would look into that. Okay. Next victim here. Uh-oh. Harold, you're on mute. I can't hear you. Okay. There you go.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that reading for Lisa. That was fantastic. I think readings to deal with relationships are always fantastic, and I think that's really cool. Um, so we don't have anybody actively asking for readings right now, but I did want to ask you more about the blood moon, and I'm pretty sure that the blood moon is going to be on March 14th, which is going to be 6 days away from the spring equinox. So this is the closest full moon until we have our spring equinox. And that may or may not be the reason why it's a blood moon to begin with. I'm not sure. I'm not the best astrologer in the world. But the question that I wanted to ask you is concerning a blood moon, what kind of spells or magic is best used during a blood moon?
Well, my expertise, it's more inclined on astrology than into to witchcraft. But honestly, the way I see it, I would say doing a blood moon would be to if it's for relationships, I would say the best spells is definitely for relationships on a blood moon. But for it can also be for something that is to repel. You're very welcome, Lisa. But to repel what it is, but also because there was somebody on Facebook who inquired on this question. Would it be a good idea to even do spell work on a blood full lunar eclipse, blood moon? But the way I see it, and this is just me personally, I mean, because I only have like maybe 10 to 15 years experience of witchcraft, but you would have to really, really, really be extremely thorough on your intentions as well, because if you're especially if Mercury going into retrograde after well, it's going to go at retrograde after the lunar eclipse. You would have to be very, very thorough on your intentions. You have to and be very, very specific, because the energy is extremely potent, and you would have to be very, very specific. Not overly specific, where it's going to lead to confusion, but but just specific.
Thank you so much for that. I really enjoy the perspective, particularly from an astrological point of view. So I'll get into more about astrology. When someone starts studying astrology, and I really like that you use your knowledge of astrology in conjunction while you read tarot, because I think that's very, very important. What would be your advice to people that read tarot cards that want to learn astrology, be more adept in astrology? What are the kind of the basics of learning astrology?
Well, for starters, if the question was in reading tarot in conjunction with astrology. So for starters, you would have to learn the astrological correspondences to the with the major arcana. I don't know if you're familiar with Aleister Crowley when he founded the religious philosophy of Thelema. He I don't know if he was the one who did this, but there was like astrological correspondences to each card in the major arcana. Like, for example, Uranus would be the Fool card. Mercury, the Magician would be correspondent to the planet Mercury. The High Priestess, and if anybody is listening and is an expert, correct me if I'm wrong, but the High Priestess would have an astrological correspondence to the moon. And then the Empress, I believe, would be the astral correspondences to Venus. And then the Emperor would have a astrological correspondences to Mars, and the Hierophant would be the astrological correspondences to Taurus, etc. That would be my advice, to just familiarize yourself with the the astrological correspondences to the major arcana. Also, it would also depend, well, to if any tarot readers out there, get like and you can get this like on your smartphone or your iPad, and they're free. And with an astrologer, I'm guilty of also, cheating and using them, once in a while, just to make things, less labor intense. But you can use, astrological almanacs and look at, what are the astrological alignments that are currently taking place. And then when you're pulling out your tarot deck, and then you can see like what's really corresponding to that particular alignment, to what cards are like on the table currently. So I don't know if that would make sense.
It certainly does. If you're just joining us, you're watching Witchcraft TV Tarot with Volpe, and this is the www.witchcrafttv.online platform, where we are fair representation of all pagan, witch, and magic paths. And I want to ask you, if someone wanted a reading, because this is rebroadcasted on the Witchcraft TV station, if somebody wanted a private reading with you, what would be the best way to get a hold of you?
So I'm on Facebook, and this is my name, Volpe Argentata, and also I'm on Volpecula Astrology, and I will post the and I can post up the website as well. I'm also on YouTube, which is called Volpecula Astrology. It's VULPECUL -astrology on my YouTube channel. And I have, there's a lot of ways that you can contact me if you want a privatized reading, and I'll be definitely more than happy to. And I love doing the readings. I like to give people the insight on what it is they need to do to guide them into the direction where they want. I listen to what they want. Unlike the Abrahamic, in the mainstream Abrahamic religions, where you have like the deities, instead of like listening to what the person wants, they tell you what they want. And in paganism and witchcraft, it's all about having the tools to guide you into the direction where you want to go in life.
So if you can send me the links to those other places where you can be reached, if you want to send that over to me via Messenger, I'll make sure that all that information is put up on our platforms on Witchcraft TV, our group pages, our teaching platforms, and etc., so I can get that out a little bit better. With that being said, I'm full of questions, and if you're watching, you can have a reading with Volpe right now, free of charge, and if you feel compelled for sponsoring the station, that's always good too. Keep in mind that we just applied in the state of Washington as a nonprofit charity organization, religious organization, and all sponsorships go right back into the station to provide content just like this and the other many shows and interviews and content that we provide and services. Volpe, I want to ask you another question, and I want to ask you, when did you start drawing conclusions with astrology and tarot? Did you start reading tarot before astrology, or astrology before tarot?
Oh, astrology way before tarot. I started astrology at a very early age, when I was about 15 years old, and it started off with a book that I came in contact with, which was by I don't know if you heard of Suzanne White. She combined the Western astrology with the Chinese astrology. That's what really got my interest. And then I got an interest in tarot when I found out that my mom is a witch, even though she doesn't believe she is, because I don't know if you remember the movie The Craft, and she has told me stories about how she actually, with her and a group of girls when she was young, they did that light as a feather, thick as a board, and it worked. But of course, just like the movie, they ended up dropping her because they lost concentration. And so, yeah, I got into tarot. But after, when I was introduced to Thelema, and then I saw like this diagram where it has like the Kabbalah, the Jewish tree of life, and it was drawn by Aleister Crowley, and it had like the paths with the Hebrew letters, the astrological signs, and then the tarot cards of the major arcana. And I was like, interesting. So there's astrological correspondences to each card in the major arcana. So that's where I went, and I just like started learning it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Thank you so much for that. And if you send me the links, I'll be sure to get that up on the platform. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to call it good and do kind of a short reading today, as I have to accompany a priestess to go do some advertising work for an event that's taking place here in Centralia, Washington. Volpe, thank you so much for coming on Witchcraft TV, and I will do my due diligence to have you on more regularly, and I will be in contact with you. And if you're out there, make sure y'all keep it right here on www.witchcrafttv.online. Why? Because we are fair representation of all pagan, witch, and magic paths. Blessed be. Thank you, Volpe, and thank you to all our viewers.
My pleasure. Blessed be.